Thank you for coming back. It's Dr. Glenn, your WordPress security fanatic, and today we're going to talk about a new kind of hack that I'm seeing. I've seen this for a while, but very rarely. But this last week, I saw it on two sites for customers, and I think this is becoming a much bigger issue, particularly on the gig websites where people go and they hire somebody uh, to develop their website very inexpensively. Let me share my screen so you can see what I see, and then we'll just kind of jump right back into it. This is our test site. I'm just kind of busy running a scan on it right now. And what's happening here is that what I've seen are these plugins. There's not one in here right here, but I'm just going to try to explain it and hope that you'll understand. So what happens is a person goes to the gig website, they hire a programmer to do their website, and the programmer says, yeah, it'll be, $2,000 or whatever, and they go ahead and they develop the site. Lo and behold, a couple of years or so, or however long goes by, and suddenly the customer's website is all infected with viruses and it's all messed up. And then they come and they find Dr. Glenn or someone like me, and they say, please clean up my website. The greatest frustration that I have is when a customer says, here's my website, please clean it up and give it back to me. And they have every expectation that they're going to get a website back that's fully functional. Unfortunately, you just can't always do that. And in this particular case, you really, really can't do it. So I'm going to show you what's been happening and sort of how to deal with it. So what the website person does is one of two different techniques. I saw two different techniques. They're very similar. I'm going to discuss both of them. They'll install a plugin in your plugins directory, and it'll be to manage the admin area interface. Okay, so it'll say like admin or whatever, admin customizer. I think that's what the one was called that I just recently found. So I go into the customer's website, I see all these plugins, there's a gazillion of them, and I start looking. So I just manually start zipping through, clicking on the plugins, go in to look and see what's the latest version, does it match up to what's installed and so forth. And I start noticing right away that the versions of all of the plugins that they have installed are really, really old. And then I come across this one, and it says that it's the admin customizer. And I noticed right away when I logged into the customer account, and this has happened several times even in the last couple of months. I noticed right away when I log into a customer account that the interface looks kind of old and dated. It's WordPress, and it has, all the basics in there, the dashboard and the settings and so forth, but it's just a little bit older looking. So I noticed that right away, and I said to myself, what's going on here? And so it just jumped out at me that it must be this admin interface plugin that I had seen on the customer site. So I go to the plugin and I click deactivate and I uninstall it, and suddenly their website interface in here, it lights up like a Christmas tree. Everything says it needs to be updated. Everything's out of touch. I noticed there's no firewall program in there. There's no updating software, backup software in there. And wow, the theme is out of date. Every plugin is out of date. And I'm thinking to myself, what the heck just happened? So I start digging deeper and I start looking at it. And I even, WordPress is open source. So I pulled the plugin out and I read the source code, and holy cow, what it was designed to do was to suppress updates. So basically they put this, they built the website for the people, and then they suppressed the updates so nothing would ever update. And why did they do that? Well, the reason that the developer did it, I'm only guessing at this point, but I think it's a fair guess. The reason that they did that was because they used a fake or a hacked theme. Okay, they took a theme that was hacked. That it was something that they should have paid money for, but they stole it. and they installed it on the customer computer and or website, and then they stole a bunch of plugins that were pro version plugins, and they installed all of those on behalf of the uh, customer. So first, before I go into the second way that I found this exact same problem, let me talk to you if you're a website owner. Go into your WordPress right now or sometime soon. Go into the WordPress, click on plugins, and read every plugin that you have. What is it? Okay. And is it a paid product or not? Well, you can only go to the plugin site. If you click on this button over here that says like more info, usually they say more info. Let me install a different one here. Something that's from the repository. So, oh, I have this locked down. Because it's a security issue. I have it locked so you can't add new ones. That's why you can't click the more info. Anyway, there's usually a link here that says more info. If you click on it and it says that it's way out of date, but you're not seeing a warning, then you should know there's a problem, right? If it says this says version 1.9.8, but you go to the website where this particular product is sold, and you find, you look up the documentation and you find that it's currently version 5.6 or something, then you know that something's going wrong here. And I mean, that's pretty obvious, right? I don't think I need to beat that to death. Check your plugins, know what you have running, make sure that every paid plugin is licensed in your name. A good web developer is going to say to you, okay, so we have, you want X, Y, and Z done on your website. Well, that's going to require these plugins to do it. And this plugin costs this much money, and this one costs this much money. And so if you want me to take this job, go buy those plugins, license them in your own name, give me the installation key for that plugin for your website, and I'll install it and build the website for you, and you'll own the licenses for those, and it's your responsibility to keep them up. That is how it works. It doesn't work like you go to 20.com gig company and you put a quote out there and you say, I need somebody to develop my site. And they say, okay, we'll do it for $89. And you say, okay, $89 sounds like a good deal. And then they build it and they throw a bunch of paid stuff on there that you didn't have to pay for. How could you not notice that? And why would you not fire them from day one if they're stealing things and putting them on your website? I don't get it. So just, that's your job. Okay, so we're going to move on to part two here. So the first way that I found this was when they had this this custom admin plugin installed that purposefully suppressed all of the updates. And so, they have a theme installed and the theme has been cracked, okay? So when the theme has been cracked or hacked to work when it should be paid for, but it's not, they use a fake license key that is installed. They don't want that theme written over with an update, because if you update that theme, it'll overwrite the custom codes on it that are stolen, and then it'll say you have to license this product to use it. That the developer doesn't want that. They don't want you to know that they used stolen software to make your website with. So in your theme area, you click on your theme and you should see a version number at someplace. This should all make sense. It should say by the whatever company that makes it. There should be a link to their website, and you go to their website. In this case, it's Elegant Themes, and look through the information and find out exactly what version of the theme is currently being sold. So if I went to Elegant Themes website and I looked up this theme called Divi, one of my very favorite themes, and it says that it's currently version 8.9, and I look in my website and it says that my current theme is version 4.17, and I don't see anything in my dashboard that says a little notice that says update your theme. That's a red flag. You should know that that's a problem. So go in and do a little audit, not only on your plugins, but on your theme, and make sure that if you have a paid theme, that it's paid for by you, licensed by you, and that it's up to date so that your information is not being stolen. You do not want people on your website trading child porn in subfolders that you don't know about. You do not want people hijacking your customers' computers and using them to mine cryptocurrency without you knowing about it. You won't know about any of those things that are happening on your site if all of the warnings and stuff are suppressed and everything is hacked and there are backdoors and stuff going on. So it's your responsibility as the site owner, your job, nobody else's job. Doesn't matter that you hired a developer. It's your responsibility to make sure your theme is paid for if you're using a paid theme, that it's up to date, that your plugins are paid for if any of them are paid plugins, and that they're up to date. Right? And then what's going to happen is you're going to get in the same boat that my customer got into, and I'll talk about that more right now. Okay, so in the file manager area, or the cPanel area, right, for this directory, go to the file manager, and we're going to go to the theme functions page. So under the public HTML directory, if it's not clear, I'm going to show you the second way now that I saw this kind of a problem this week. So you click on WP content, and you go ahead and go to themes, and then these are the themes that are currently installed on the website. And the current active theme is Divi, so you click on that, and every theme will have a file called functions.php. Okay, so in your functions file, you can add code in here that prevents your website and WordPress itself from updating. So you can hijack everything from the functions folder if you know what you're doing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit this so that you can see. All right, and then what they'll do is they'll go to the bottom of the hacked theme that you have, whichever one that is, and they will go ahead and add a new filter. And in this case, it will look something like this. So let me just grab the code that I have, which I know works, and make this a little bit bigger so you can see it, and paste it in there. Okay, so what they do is they add this text in here. It says, here's a new function. We're going to remove the updates, right? So it says, don't update the plugins, don't update the WordPress core, and don't update the theme. So if you had this code written in the functions.php file of your theme, your WordPress theme, then in your control panel for WordPress, you would not see any updates for plugins. You would not see any updates for themes, and the WordPress itself would start falling out of date like crazy because WordPress updates pretty quickly. And I think a lot of website owners sort of imagine no news is good news. My website isn't asking for updates. Everything's working. I'm getting orders. I'm happy and good to go. But that's not the case. WordPress needs updates on a regular basis. Every week I have some kind of an update, it seems like, and especially when it comes, everything holds that I said earlier about the themes and the plugins. That's how you know if this is happening. Even if your theme is the one that was hacked, you're going to be able to tell by going to look at the theme and see what version you're using, and then go check. Go to the web developer of the theme. Are they still in business? And do they still have this theme? And if so, is it paid for? Is it a paid theme? And if it's a paid theme, do you have the license for it? If a developer puts a paid theme in your site, the chances are almost 100% it has a backdoor in it. And so in any event, now assuming that the website is suppressing updates, this is what you have to look forward to. A lot of if you're using a ton of plugins, a number of those plugins is going to be abandoned by the developer. So it's just going to be abandoned. It doesn't work anymore. It works on your site because nothing's being changed. It's like frozen in time. But the WordPress core out in the real world continues to get updated and updated, right? So pretty soon your WordPress core, after a year or two or whatever, won't be compatible with PHP anymore. It'll start throwing errors, or a vulnerability will be found in one of those plugins. Somebody will discover that you're using it and they'll hack into your site. They'll go out on the dark web or whatever. They'll publish the hack. Okay, we got into Joe Schmo's website. This is how we got in. And everybody that is bored enough, some pimple-faced kids, will go look at your website. They'll dig through your files. They will steal your information, deface your stuff. They'll set up data miners. They'll set up porn stuff. They'll do redirects to send your visitors to different places and the like. And then you contact me and you say, the website's broken. I want you to fix it. So I go to fix your website, okay? Dr. Glenn. And what do I find? I find that everything is out of date. If I update the WordPress core, the database for WordPress, it needs to be updated. If you're using WooCommerce, the WooCommerce database will need to be updated. And if I try to update your plugins that have been abandoned, I cannot do that. And the plugins that I try to update that had licenses that were paid, I can't do that because nobody has a license for it. And suddenly, your website doesn't work anymore. It might be the case that the hack destroyed your website data, or it might be the case that your data was built on an infrastructure that just will not work anymore. So I cannot restore that kind of a website. So all I can do as a security professional is go through all the files, update what I can, and tell you, you need a new theme. You need a new, you need this new plugin and this new plugin, and these functions of your website over here aren't going to work anymore because they were based on plugins that are downright dangerous now, and you can't use those plugins anymore, and you can't update them anymore because the developer stopped developing them 2 years ago. That is a terrible feeling for me, and it's an absolute nightmare for the website owner. And I don't think the website owner gets a pass on this. You can't pass the buck, right? You had a responsibility to know what you purchased and to at least sometime in the last couple of years go make sure that your updates were running. So I feel terrible, and I'm very compassionate, and I understand that the website owner's been victimized, and I'm not going to rub it in. I'm going to try to be as supportive as I can. But for the purposes of this video, let me just tell you, the website owner was a victim of themselves and of the people that abused them, because they had a chance every day to check and see what was going on, and they didn't do it. So there you go. I'm seeing this more and more. It's a serious security issue that the website is running and it is not telling the people that they have updates. And the reason it doesn't tell them they have updates is because it's using stolen software, and it eventually leads to a big mess for the site owner, and even a security professional can't do it. So they end up paying for a designer to go in and redesign their site and redevelop everything, and sometimes they may have spent thousands of dollars for the first development, and now they have to do it all over again because they couldn't just update as things went and problem solve as things became unavailable. You can fix one problem at a time, but when you try to fix 10 problems at once, you may as well start over as far as plugins go. So, but what by that I mean, let's say you had a plugin that was for a particular slider. And let's say you sell cars on your website, and this particular plugin allowed the user to click different colors so that on the front page of your site, the person that wants to buy a car can see all the different colors of cars on the road or whatever. When that plugin is abandoned that does that and you're forced to fix it, then you go to a developer and you say, okay, I was using this plugin, it's not working anymore, I need a replacement. And the developer generally will say, okay, and they'll find you one and they'll install it. And so that's just part of regular maintenance. But when you have 10 of those problems and your website is completely screwed, you may as well start over at the very beginning. So definitely do these things. I'm going to say it one more time, very quick. I mean, I'm just 1 minute on this. Go to your themes, check and see what your active theme is. Click on it, see what version you're using. Go to the developer's website, make sure that it's still for sale and it's still updated, that it's been updated recently, and that you have the latest version. If you don't, you need to do whatever you can do to get that latest version. Relicense it, reinstall it, and get it legit. Go over to your plugins folder and click on the more info or whatever for all of your plugins and check. Here's the version number. Here's the version number. Here's the version number. You should see the version numbers. So WordFence Security version 7.5.9 by WordFence. Visit the site. Go to the site. Look and see what version you're supposed to have today. What is the new latest version? Do you have the new latest version? It should be updating to that. If you see a bunch of your plugins are out of date and it's not nagging you to install them, you have a big problem. In which case you need to go through each plugin, delete it, and reinstall it. All the paid plugins need to be reinstalled with a paid license version you bought the license for, that you own, so you control your website. And you should still probably hire me or someone like me to come in and just check everything over. But it's a real problem. So that's it for this video. Don't let this happen to you. Check and make sure that you own the licenses to your stuff. Your website belongs to you. It's your responsibility. Take care of it. And until next time, I hope that you are thriving and doing well and making money. And if I can be of service to you in any way, please reach out. I am here to help.